Welcome to your Pilates mat workout series. Today is day 1 of 10 days of Pilates mat workouts that you can do in little bite-sized increments to jumpstart your Pilates mat practice. Today we're going to focus on the classical abs series of 5. So if you've done Pilates before, you very likely have been through this series. No props are required. When you're ready, meet me lying down on the mat. Starting lying on our backs. You can do this entire series with the head lifted or lowered down depending on what works for you. So we'll start with our single leg stretch. So I'm going to go for the curled variation. We're going to pull one knee in toward chest, extend the other leg, switching sides. We're going to go for 9, switch, breathing through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, 7, switch, keeping it curled so just the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are making contact with the mat. You want to feel like you're holding a tangerine between your chin and your collarbone, so you're not looking up to the ceiling. You're looking down toward your abdomen. Breathing this whole time, thinking about abs zipping in and up. Okay, let's go for another 2. Switch. 1. Switch. Good. Rest the head down if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to go right into our double leg stretch. Both knees into chest. Extend legs forward, arms long. Exhale. Reach forward, grab the legs. Inhale, legs back. Legs forward, arms back. Exhale, reach, grab the knees. This is 8, 7, 6, don't forget to hold your tangerine. 5, 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Good, rest your head down for 1 sec. Rock your head side to side. We're going to go for our scissors. So one leg up to 90 degrees, other leg to 45. In your curl, if you can, we're going to pulse the leg into the chest. Switch, pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse. So knees are straight. And on that second pulse, we want to see if we can pull the leg in toward the chest just a little bit more. This is 6. Elbows are wide. You can grab onto your ankle, your calf, or your thigh, but I'd like to ask you to really focus on getting that leg as straight as possible. So think about engaging the quads, pulling the kneecap up the leg, so we're not going for a bent leg here. We really want to find that stretch through the hamstring in this position too. Good, last 2 each side. Switch, 1 more set. And switch. Good. Rest your head down. Rock your head side to side, particularly if you're finding your curl. Hug your knees in toward your chest. We're going to go right for lower and lift. Legs up to 90 degrees. I'm going to keep my head down for this one. You can curl up with the head, neck, and chest if you like. We're going to find an external rotation. Heels together and toes apart. Hips wrapped out to the sides so your knees are pointing outwards. We're going to lower the legs. Exhale, lift them up. My range is quite small due to some ab separation challenges I have, but if you can lower the legs even lower without compromising the stability of your pelvis and spine, feel free to explore that. You want to keep a nice neutral spine here, neutral pelvis, so you have a natural curve in your low back, and your pubic bone and hip bones are on the same height the whole time. So explore what your low point is. I'm doing some rehab, so mine is not intense, but that's okay. Meet yourself where you are today. Let's go for 4. Exhaling as you come up, inhaling as you lower, taking care not to bulge through the abdomen. Last 2. And 1. Good, bend the knees to tabletop. We're going to move right into crisscross. So hands behind the head in your curl, knees bent, legs on tabletop. You're going to bring your left elbow to your right knee and switch. So the left knee is, if the left knee is bent, the right leg is extending. And I'm thinking about shining my armpit to the opposite wall. So we're really getting twist through the torso. We've got 8. 7, getting obliques with this series. 6, 5, 4, last 3. That extended leg can go as low as you like. 2, and 1. Abs pulled in. Hug your knees into your chest, lower your head, rock your head side to side. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release. Grab onto your ankles on the insides, almost near your insteps. Let your knees just relax out to the side in this happy baby style stretch. You can put a little bit of pressure, pulling your heels in toward your pelvis. Big breath in, exhale. Feel your inner thighs and your pelvic floor relax. You can give a little rock side to side if you like. So we'll begin with our feet hip distance apart. Our toes will be right in line with our knees. Walk your feet pretty close to your pelvis, and we're going to find a neutral spine to begin. So that includes a neutral pelvis. Your pubic bone and your hip bones are on the same plane. Your pubic bone is not higher or lower. You're not arching or curling. You're going to have a little bit of space under your low back. Ribs down. Arms will start by your sides with your collarbone wide. Drag your heels in toward your pelvis without physically moving them. So you just want that sense of tension dragging in to activate your hamstrings right away. So we're going to begin with a nice big pelvic curl. We're going to flatten the lower spine out, start to peel the tailbone up off the mat and raise your spine up one vertebra at a time until you're in this nice diagonal line bridge from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. Squeeze the glutes. Big inhale, exhale, melt the spine down one bone at a time. Try to get every single vertebra to hit the mat. That will mean you have to get a really big scoop under with the pelvis until the bottom of your sacrum hits the mat nice and heavy. I'll raise my arms so you can see a little bit better. We're going to start with that tuck under of the tailbone. Your lower abdominals will start to fire on so you can lift up your butt and your lower body until we're in this really raised position. Big breath in. Exhale, melt the spine down. Again, finding that big scoop under with the pelvis until the bottom of your sacrum hits the mat really nice and heavy. If you'd like to raise your arms up over your shoulders for a little bit of an added stability challenge, you're welcome to do that. We're going to take a few more of these, just nice and steady, really focusing on the spinal articulation. And again, maintain that drag in toward your pelvis of the heels. That will automatically help kind of fire everything on. Big breath in, exhale, melt it down. And as we press up into this bridge, I'd really like to encourage you to think about the ribs being heavy and thinking about that diagonal line from knees, tips to shoulders. If you find yourself popping up through the rib cage, you're going to lose your abdominal control and probably lose some of your glute and thigh engagement as well. So think about ribs down toward your pelvis as you press up. We're going to take two more like this. And down. Next time you press up, we're going to hold it there. Arms can be up or down. We're going to take tiny pulses up and down, squeezing the glutes, pushing into the floor with the heels. Let's go for 8, 7, maximizing your glute squeeze, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. We're going to lower the right arm back behind you. So you're going to have to raise your arms up for this one. Back to starting. Left arm comes up and back. Right arm back behind your head. Exhale, bring it up. Torso staying steady. So everything except for your arms should be like a still picture. And your arms will act like a movie. That's the only place where we're moving. Let's take one more single arm. And back. Now let's take both arms back. Exhale, back up over your shoulders. Both arms back and up. It doesn't have to be all the way down to the floor if that mobility isn't working for you. But if you can go for it without compromising anything in the spine, I encourage you to do it. Okay, let's take two more. And back. Good. Now we're going to reach back, lower the hips down. So arms are reaching back. We're just hovering the hips above the mat, not fully resting. We're going to press the hips up, bring the arms all the way forward, reaching for your ankles. Big inhale, squeeze the glutes, hover above the mat as the arms reach back. Exhale, arms come forward, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, hover down. Exhale. So every time the arms start to come down, hips are pressing up. We've got 4. This is 3. Feel your abs working 2. 2. And 1. Good. Press your hands into the mat. Shoulders roll wide. Big breath in. Exhale. Roll the spine down one bone at a time. Good. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Windshield wiper your knees side to side. Release your low back. Release any tension in your hips. We're going to repeat some of that bridge work now in our wide stance. So the feet being wider will now help us target outer glutes a little bit. So arms can be down by your sides or up over your shoulders. I'll keep my hands raised so you can see what's going on with my spine. This time, instead of articulating up with that curled pelvis, we're going to keep a neutral spine. So natural curve in your low back. Drag those heels in toward your pelvis. We're going to press up and lower down. So it's sort of like a classic glute bridge that you might have learned in general gym work. So we're not going for that spinal articulation. We want to find that big squeeze through the glutes and also try to see if you can feel that tension building between your hip bones for that deep core activation. Let's go for 5. This is 4. Last 3. 2, big squeeze, and 1. Hold at the top. Keep that squeeze of the glutes. Tiny pulses up and down. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Right arm goes out to the side. Exhale up over the shoulders. Left arm out to the side. Right up over the shoulders, alternating sides. So we're getting a little bit of chest and shoulder opening, while also challenging our glutes to keep us really anchored here and stable. We're going to go for 2 more each side. Switch, up, and switch. Now we're going to lower hips down, arms come out to the side. Exhale, raise it up. Open the arms wide as you lower the hips. Exhale, bring everything up. So once again, I'm just hovering the butt right above the mat. You're not letting it rest down. We're keeping everything active, pushing into the heels. You've got 3. Getting a little bit of chest and bicep work. And 1. Good. Big inhale, exhale. Now we'll melt the spine down 1 vertebra at a time. Good. Arms down by your sides. Rock your knees side to side, releasing through the hip flexors. We've got 1 more variation to go. Now we'll try bridges with a raised heel for a little bit of calf and lower leg activation. So we'll raise the heels high, kind of in a releve or raised heel or Barbie feet position, if you will. Walk your feet very close to your hips. We're going to focus on keeping that neutral spine once more. Arms can be down by your side or up over your shoulders. We're going to begin just with a press up and down. Get your feet nice and comfortable. Neutral spine. Squeeze through the glutes. Press up and lower down. So we really want to activate through the abs, activate through the glutes. Think about if you can feel your abs start to initiate this movement even before the glutes get engaged or really recruit on fully. I'm sorry for the construction noises. Hopefully I can filter those out. Hopefully you're not hearing them now too. Good. We're going to go for 5, keeping your heels lifted the whole time. 4, last 3, final 2, and 1. Lift nice and high. Raise your arms up over your shoulders if you don't already have them there. Tiny pulses up and down. Let's go for 10. Squeezing the glutes. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the arms high. We're going to lower the hips down to that hover as the arms reach back. Once again, lift the hips as the arms go forward. Hips dip down. Exhale, squeeze the glutes. We're going to go for 6 more. Opening through the shoulders and lifting the hips. Arms reach back. Really squeeze as you press up. You've got 4. Last 3. Final 2. Release any tension you may have in your forearms. In your forehead rather, and lift. Arms pressed down. We're going to keep the hips lifted. Now lower the right heel. Exhale, raise it back up. Left heel lowers, raise it back up. 2 more each side. Trying to keep everything else very still. Just one heel pressing down as the other is staying lifted. Now, both heels press down slowly with control. Lift it up. You've got 4. Trying to keep the butt from lowering as you lower the heels. Bottom stays high as you lower the heels slowly with control. Last 2. And 1. Good. Big inhale, raise the heels. Exhale, melt the spine down one bone at a time. Walk your feet as wide as your mat. Now we stretch. Rock your knees side to side. Letting your hips and low back release. We'll take a classic figure 4 stretch. Right ankle over left knee. Grab onto your left thigh or left shin. Try to keep your spine in a neutral position, so bottom of the sacrum really heavy. You can pull on your left thigh and drawing it toward your chest slightly. If you'd like to put a little bit of oppositional force into this, you could place your right hand on your right thigh. Good. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Try to feel it release. Switch sides. Left ankle over right knee. Feel the bottom of your sacrum really heavy on the mat. Give yourself that little bit of oppositional force, whether it's pulling on your right thigh or pressing into your left thigh with your hand. Good. Place your left foot down on the mat. Extend that leg long. Raise your right leg up to the ceiling. Hold on behind your calf, your ankle, or your thigh, whatever works. Pull that pull the leg in toward your chest, trying to keep your pelvis from curling under too much. You can point through the foot or flex, whatever feels good. I think flex gives a deeper stretch. Let's go for the other side. Right leg up, trying to feel your pelvis, bottom of your sacrum really heavy. Good. Give yourself a little bit of a pull on that leg. Point or flex the foot. Good. Bend the knee in. Your feet will be hip distance apart on the mat. Toes are right in line with your heels. So we're just going to focus on very subtly dragging the heels toward the pelvis. We'll begin just by lifting our hips up only as high as you need to fit a fist under your bottom. So you may be tempted to bring the hips all the way up to diagonal line position, but really we're only going for this tiny, slight little lift. So take a moment, do a couple of these where the spine lifts in neutral. And even think about placing a fist under your sacrum to make sure you're at the right height. So when we go for this kind of pelvic lift or baby bridge, really what we're zeroing in on is less so glutes and thighs, more your transverse abdominis. What you should feel is almost like a pulling sensation or a tightening between your 2 hip bones. And that's good. That means we're really getting your deep core. We're using this as our warm-up before we move on to obliques. So you can bring your arms up above your shoulders if you like. I'm just lifting my arms so you can see how high I'm lifting my hips. And we're focusing on keeping the ribs down. So we're not popping the rib cage up at the top. I want that sense of ribs zipping toward your pelvis. Let's take 2 more. Again, feeling that rubber band sensation between your hip bones. Pause here. We're going to lift and lower the hips just a few centimeters or just an inch. And again, instead of glutes really firing and squeezing, we want to feel that sensation of those deep core muscles pulling us in. Good. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5. Make sure you're still breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause in that little lift. Make sure your toes are still right in line with your knees. Now we're going to go for hip dips. So we're going to drop the right hip, bring it back to that hover height. Not too high, not too low. Dip the left hip, bring it back. So we're focusing on keeping this stable hip, the stabilizing hip, right where it is. So it's almost like everything stays where it is approximately, except for that rotating hip. So the hip is going to the right and down on the right side, and the left hip is going down and to the left without completely dropping the bottom down to the mat. Let's take another 6 of these. These are slow burn, but really good for that sort of stabilizing and firing of those obliques. 4 more. And switch. Last 3. Take a moment just to see if there's any tension building in your neck or your upper traps. Just take a moment to let that melt away as you finish up your last few. And last set. Very nice, good. Bring the hips down, walk your feet as wide as your mat. Just windshield wiper your knees side to side, give a little release. And let's move on. All right, first up, we're bringing our hands under our shoulders, our knees, right under our hips, and the feet will be flat down on the mat. Let's begin by getting into our proper position, pushing up through the hands so that we're pressing the floor away. Our shoulders are separating. We're making sure our head isn't hanging down. It's in a nice long extension, and not curling the pelvis under. I'm not arching the back. We're just in this nice neutral spine. Let's take a moment to do a quick cat-cow. I'm gonna curl the pelvis under, arch the spine up to the ceiling, and I'm sorry if the audio sounds crazy. My face is right up on the mic, and arch it back. So we're taking the extreme of that arch and curl, pressing the belly button up to the ceiling, and reaching the tailbone or sits bones back to the back wall while shining the sternum forward. One more. And forward. Good. Bringing it back to neutral, ribs aligned right with your pelvis. We're going to begin reaching the left leg forward, right arm forward, placing it back down. Alternating sides. Left arm forward, right leg back, and bringing it back. So a couple things to look out for. We don't want to shift the weight way over to the side. As you reach the arm and leg back, we want to really focus on keeping both hip bones facing directly down to the mat. So I'm not rotating through the pelvis either. So we're taking nice slow control, trying to move the hand and foot at the same time. Good, let's go for 2 more each side. Hopefully feeling lots of lower abdominals as you support yourself through this movement. Good, last one. Now we're going to take that same movement. This time we're going to reach arm up and leg up. Place it back down. Hand and foot go out, reach up, place it back down. So something we want to avoid here, some troubleshooting. We don't want to arch through the back and let the belly go down to the floor. We really want to keep the ribs down. Even if the leg doesn't go very high, we want to keep that core control and core connection. It's actually going to be a lot harder, even though it might feel less dramatic. It's going to give us better core stabilization and better work through the glute and hamstring on the working leg. Good. Last one. Next time we go to the opposite side, we're going to lift, hold, tiny pulses up and down, leg and hand lift. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, other side. Leg and arm lift, tiny pulses up and down. This is 8, 7. Keep that working hip oriented down toward the floor. 4, long extension through the leg. 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Give your wrist a quick roll out if you need to. We're going to build on that in just a sec. Switching to the other side, I'm going to gather my abs in and up, reach the left arm forward, right leg up. I'm going to bring the right leg out to the side, left arm out to the side, bring it back to center. Leg and arm go out to the side, reaching in opposite directions, bring it back to center. Good, you've got 4 more. Reaching with that leg, nice long extension. Supporting with your abs. Last 2. And 1. Good. Other side, place that hand back under your shoulder. Reach the left leg back, right arm forward. Everything comes up, nice square hips. Leg goes out, arm goes out. Bring it back to center line. Pushing up through that left palm to support you. Abs are engaged. So again, we don't want this so high that we're losing the abdominal connection. Should be right about in line with your hip. You want to think about reaching your arm and leg out to the opposite diagonal, the opposite corner of the room. Last 2. And 1. Good, bring it back down, take a quick child's pose, hips to your heels, arms reach forward. Take a big breath in, exhale, let it go. 1 more big breath in, exhale, let it go. Hands on the mat, rolling up, let's move on. Next up, hands back under the shoulders. You're gonna press up through the palms, find your neutral spine, so not too arched, not curled under. You're gonna anchor your weight in the right knee, push up through the palms, kick the left foot back in a right angle with the foot flexed, and bring it right back down. So as we do that, we don't want to open the hip up out to the side. We want to keep that left hip pointed down toward the floor. Just think about like there's a plate on top of your foot. You're trying to kick up to the ceiling. So you're definitely going to feel abs supporting you. Hopefully feel some glutes, some hamstrings as well. Good, let's go for 3. Last 2. Neck is as relaxed as you can get it. And 1. Pause at the top. We're just going to pulse the foot up and down. Let's go for 8, 7, 6. You're trying to kick the foot up to the ceiling very gently. 4, abs stay engaged. 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Shake out the wrists if you need to. Roll them out. We're going to go directly to the right side. Hands under your shoulders. Anchor your weight right on top of that left leg without leaning over to the side. Pressure up through the hands. Flex the right foot. Kick that leg up to the ceiling with the hips squared. Lower it down. When I say kick, it's not a powerful kick. It's more of a controlled press up and lower. Good. We've got another 6. So it may feel like you're not getting that foot very high because your spine is naturally going to want to arch a little bit to let that foot go higher. But I really encourage you, feel like your ribs are pulling down toward your hip bones to keep the core connection here. Last 2. And 1. Check that right hip. Make sure it's down toward the floor. Tiny pulses up and down. This is 8, 7, flex foot, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Place the fingers facing forward or facing your knees. You can rock back and forth. Just give your wrists a little release. And let's continue on. Next, we'll move into fire hydrant. So hands back under your shoulders, knees back under your hips, neutral spine pressing up through the hands. We're going to bring the left leg out to the side, still at a right angle, lower it back down. So again, I'm not shifting my body over and letting my hips go to the side, keeping even pressure into the hands. Well, maybe a little bit more pressure into that left hand to help support us. Definitely feeling obliques on the left side as that left leg goes up. Definitely feeling glutes on the left. This is 3. Last 2. And 1. Pause at the side. Pulses up and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. We're going to kick the leg up, out to the side, rotate it all the way back down. Kick the foot up, knee to the side, drawing a circle with the knee. 3 more. Again, trying to keep the hips as still as possible, working in as wide a range as we can while still doing that and not creating pain. Let's reverse. Knee to the side, rotate it back, around and down. 4 more. Really work the maximum range you can here while keeping all of that stable. 3 more. Keep the foot flexed. 2. Nice long back of the neck. And 1. Good. Place it back down. Shake out your wrists. Roll out your shoulders, whatever you got to do. We're going to go for the other side. Hands under your shoulders. Press up through the palms. Get your weight stacked evenly on both knees. Now lift the right knee out to the side, bent leg. Lower it back down. Right knee out. Lower it back down. You've got 6. This is 5. 4. Once again, not tilting over to the left as the leg lifts, keeping everything square. And 1. Bring that leg to hip height. Tiny pulses up and down for 8, 7, 6, 5. Make sure your elbows are straight. 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee down. Now we go for our circles. Knee lifts up, rotates around, up and back. Knee to the side. Draw your big circle. Resist the urge to let the hips roll with the leg. That's not why we're here. We're here to control with our abdominals, make our glutes fire, make everything work. Last one in this direction. And now we reverse it. Keep that pressure through the palms. Try to relax your neck. Make sure you're still breathing. Easier said than done. Last 3. Final 2. and 1. All right, we did it. Let's take a quick child's pose. Hips to heels, arms out in front of you. Big breath out. Exhale, release. Next, I'm rotating onto my side. I'll be on the right side to start. We'll extend the legs directly to your side, so not too far forward, not too far back. We want the heels pretty close to in line with your hips. Rest your head down on your bicep, and your left hand will be on the mat right in front of your ribs. Take a second to press your top hip away so your hips are stacked one on top of the other. We're going to take a big breath in, squeeze the legs together, lift them together, and lower them down. So we're going to lift both legs and lower them down. So you may feel like you don't get a ton of lift. That's fine. We're going to lift and lower. So this may just be a few inches. It's really fine. This is not a dramatically large movement, but we're preparing for the next series, or we're preparing for the next variation. So we're going to finish up with our last 3, 2, 1, extending through the legs. Now we're going to lift the head, arm, and feet and lower down. So this is also quite small, but quite challenging. So you're going to be tempted to lift the head way up and separate the head from the arm. Really focus on trying to keep it together. Also make sure your head isn't on your hand. It's going to make it really hard for you to continue this. So head and bicep, feet, head and arm lift, keeping your head connected to your right arm. Good, let's go for 3 more. Last 2, keep that top hand pressed into the mat. And 1. Good, now either you can keep the head lifted or lower it down. We're going to scissor switch the legs. So the top leg goes forward and back as the bottom leg switches positions too. Good, we've got 5 more. I'm keeping my head down for now. If you're lifting it, it's going to look like this. Good, last 3, 2, 1. Good, back to center. Squeeze the legs together, place them down. We're going to press up, go for the other side. All right, we continue on. Legs extend out to the side. Rest your head down on your bicep. Make sure the hips are stacked, so not rolling back or rolling too far forward. We're going to squeeze the legs together, lift them both up together, and lower down. Trying to keep your hips stacked so that you're not collapsing completely into the mat. Your top shoulder is rolled away or rolled back. If you need a pad under that bottom hip, it's completely fine too. Good. Let's go for 3. Last 2. And 1. Now we're going to lift head, arm, and legs at the same time. Lower back down. So this may be very small. Once again, if your head is on your hand, it's going to be a lot harder. So make sure it's down on your bicep as you lift everything. And of course, you can give a little press into the mat with that top hand if that helps you out here. 3 more. Using your exhale, exhaling, zipping the abs up as you lift up. 2, 1. Now hold. We're going to scissor switch the legs. Top leg goes forward and back while the opposite leg alternates. Your head can be up or down. I'm going to place mine down. Pick your poison. You've got 4. Trying to keep the pelvis still. 3. Last 2, and 1. Good. Legs together, lower down, press on up to sitting. So today we're going to go with something drawn pretty closely from more classical Pilates. You can rest your head down on your bicep or up on your hand, whatever feels best to you. We're going to bring our legs straight out and slightly in front, so almost like they're reaching for the front corner of your mat. Legs are stacked on top of each other, and take a moment to align your pelvis. So we're going to get the hips stacked right on top of one another. You may feel a lift under your bottom rib, and make sure your hips aren't rocking back or forward. We want them stacked directly on top. You're going to almost feel like there's a sense of balance when that happens. So with a flex foot, we're going to lift the top leg up and lower down. So knee and toes are facing directly forward. So we don't want toes up to the sky. We don't want them down to the floor. We want nice and parallel. We also want to make sure the ribs aren't collapsing into the mat as the leg goes up. I want to keep that sense of lift in the bottom rib and the hips stacked as this continues. Let's go for 2 and 1. Good. Pause that leg at hip height, parallel, tiny pulses up and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Make sure your pinky toe is flexing toward your head. and 1. Pause at hip height. We're going to flex the foot, bring the leg forward, point the toe, bring it slightly behind. Flex the foot, bring the leg forward, point the toe, bring it slightly behind. So your bottom rib is really going to want to smash onto the mat to give you stability here. A big part of the exercise, as you can tell I'm struggling to say this as I do this exercise, is keeping your core working to stabilize your pelvis staying in this position. So really, I challenge you to challenge yourself and see if you can maintain that hip stack and bottom rib lift. Good, let's go for 3 more. Trying to keep that leg at the same height the whole time, as I just struggled with that. Last one. Good. Now, bringing the leg back to side, I'm going to point the foot, go for small circles to the back for 8, 7, 6, so you should really feel it in your glutes right around now. 5, 4, keeping that bottom rib lifted, hips stacked. Last one. Now we reverse directions. You've got 8, 7, 6, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's quite a burn for no props. Let's pound it out through the glutes and the outer thigh if you need to. Next, let's bring our leg directly forward. So you want the foot just about in line with your hip. We're going to internally rotate so that the heel is rotating up to the ceiling, toe is down, and I'm keeping that pelvis stacked and the bottom rib lifted. Raise the leg to hip height, lower it back down. Press your top hand into the mat for support if you need it. This is 6, 5, very challenging for me. I don't know about you. Like this video if it's very challenging, please. Last 3, breathe through it. 2, and 1. Oh man, that's tough. Very good. Bend your knees in, pound out the glute and outer thigh. Let's get ready to move on. All right, moving to the other side. Same position, but this time we're going to be lying on the left side of our torso. Legs reaching on a slight forward diagonal. Head resting on your hand or biceps. Stack the hips by pressing your top hip away from you, feeling that lift in your waist. We're going to flex the feet to begin. Raise the top leg in parallel. Lower it back down. Lift the top leg and lower it back down. If you want to go more classical Pilates, flex foot up, point the foot down, but pick your poison. Let's go for 5, 4, and resist the urge to collapse the waist into the mat as the leg goes down. That means we're not controlling with our abs. So keep that sense of lift as the leg goes up. And 1. Next time we lift, we're going to hold tiny pulses up and down. This is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex foot, leg goes forward, point the toe, leg goes back. If you need to adjust your foot position to support, go for it. Flex foot forward, point the toe, bring it back. So try to resist the urge to really rotate through the torso as this leg moves. The reason why I say that is I strongly prefer to keep the torso really stabilized here because that localizes the work in your core and your glutes. Good, we've got 4. And back. Exhale as you bring it forward. Try to resist the urge too to arch through the back. I don't care so much about how high the leg goes in the back as I do about, again, keeping all of this organized. You're going to get more stabilization if you're keeping that lumbar spine in neutral. Good. Back to starting. Small circles to the outside. We're going to lift the top leg. Just draw a circle the size of a basketball. You've got 6 more. Top shoulders relaxed. Check in with your hip position. Last 3. Nice point through the toes. And 1, reverse directions. You've got 8, 7, really reach the foot back behind you. 6, 5, 4, it does not have to be big. 3, last 2, and 1. Rest the leg down. For this last one, we're going to straighten out the top leg, bring it forward, right in line with your top hip. Make sure your hips are stacked, pointing through the toes. Rotate the leg so the heel is pointing slightly forward. Make sure you're nice and supported. And we're gonna lift and lower for 8. So it's almost like your heel is leading as you lift and lower the leg to the ceiling. So we're trying to feel glutes here. If you feel more supported, bending the bottom leg, that's fine to do too. We're gonna finish up with our last 4, 3, final 2. Keep that rotation, keep that top hip pressed away, and 1. Good, lower it down, pound out through the glutes. The outer thighs are going to rotate on your back, and we'll finish up with a stretch. Give yourself the gift of a nice pretzel stretch. So we're going to cross the right thigh over the left thigh. Your feet are going to go in opposite directions. Just bring your knees a little bit closer toward your chest. Place each hand on one shin. Just relax your head, neck, and shoulders down into the mat. Let gravity sort of create more weight in your hands as you pull these shins or ankles a little closer to the rest of your body. Feel a nice stretch through the glutes, hopefully on the right side here. Good, let's go for the other side. Opposite thigh goes on top, feet go to either side, hands on your shins or your ankles. And just exhale. Relax your shoulders, feel like they're melting butter into the floor. And just feel gravity create a little extra pull on your legs here. Good. Unfurl your legs, roll on up to sitting. Grab your hand weights. If you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe. So for this series, there are a number of options we can do for your seating position. You can sit down in a cross-legged position. I would recommend that you sit on a little box or a pillow or something if you do that. My personal preference would be sitting on your heels. Or if you're feeling like you want a little bit more work, bonus work through the glutes and thighs, you can curl the toes under and raise your hips above your heels. Sorry, my head's getting cut off, but it is what it is. So for today, I'm just going to sit on my heels. Take whichever version works for you. Weights are down by your side if you have them. Let's find a nice neutral spine position. So again, you're not going to be curled under and you're not going to be arched back. So we just want to think about a nice relaxed position where nothing's tucking too much or arching too much. So ribs are going to be down, length through your lumbar spine, one weight in each hand, or your palms are going to flip. So we're opening up through the shoulders. We're going to keep this organized torso position and press the arms up to your shoulder height and lower back down. So we're going to press up and lower back down. So a couple of things to think about. Some people want to curl the shoulders forward as they reach forward. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the collarbone nice and wide. You also want to make sure your gaze isn't down on the mat in front of you. It's going to hurt your neck over time. You want it just directly forward, chin slightly lifted. Think about your pinky reaching up as much as your index finger. So we really open up through the shoulders here. And you also don't have to be an overachiever. Overachievers, we don't need the hands all the way up here. We just need them right at shoulder height. I'm kind of speaking to myself when I say overachievers. So we're together on that one. Let's continue for 3. Last 2. And if you can, try to feel your back muscles supporting this one as well. Hands come up. Feel your abs supporting your torso as well. Bend the elbows tight to the waist. Bring them back behind the torso. Shoulder blades squeeze together in the back. Exhale, hands go forward. Serve a tray. Elbows bend and go back. Exhale, arms extend. Again, right to shoulder height. Let's continue for 5. And extend. So as the shoulder blades go back, think about the bottom tips coming down and together to really get that shoulder mobility that we want, or that shoulder blade movement. Feel yourself grow a little taller as the hands come back. Keep that height as you extend the arms. Resist the urge to pop the rib cage as the elbows go back. We want the ribs still connected down toward your pelvis. Move slowly with intention here. It's going to make it a lot harder in a good way, in a really productive way. Still keep that pinky rotated up toward the ceiling and nice straight wrist. Good. Arms extend out. We're going to hold them there. Small circles to the outside, keeping the core really stable. You've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Still keeping the palms facing the ceiling. This is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, And 1. Lower the arms down. Release the weights if you need to. Roll your shoulders back. Shake them out for a sec. Let's continue on. With your weights in your hands, or if you're not using weights, fingertips are going to come together. Keep that nice neutral spine, really lifting up out of the hips as you sit. We're going to separate the hands, keep the elbows lifted as the arms go back. Exhale, grow taller as the fingertips come together. Hug a tree. Arms open, elbows go back. Exhale, bring it together. So once again, your rib cage is going to want to pop out as the elbows go back, and you're going to want to round through the shoulders. Resist that urge. Keep the ribs down, grow taller, and really fight to keep the elbows lifted up. In ballet class, we would call it chicken wings when the elbows would drift down. It's going to really get you the most work in the right places if you focus on, it's almost like somebody's pushing your elbow up to the ceiling. Okay, let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And 1. Very nice. Lower it down. Roll out the shoulders, shake out the wrists if you need to. Something that can feel nice is placing the hands down on the palms, fingers facing together, facing each other, rocking side to side to release through your wrists. Just make sure your weight is over your wrists enough to feel the release. Good, let's continue on. Last in the seated position, we're going to take the weights back in our hands or just make fists. Bring your hands up to your shoulders, flip your palms to face down, and hug your elbows tight to your ribs. So again, we want to make sure we're not sinking into the lumbar spine. Ribs are down, single arm boxing. One arm goes forward, right in line with your shoulder. Exhale, bring it back. Elbow comes back tight to the body. Other arm goes forward. Bring it back in. Slow with control. Feel like the muscles right under your shoulder blade are pushing your arm forward to make sure they're recruiting well here. So this can be slow with control. That's what we want. And it's very common to want the elbow to come way out to the side like such. That I think is a lot easier and doesn't force our back muscles to really push the arm forward. Another thing to think about, same as we talked about, don't let your upper body or your shoulder collapse in. We want to keep that nice and open for the purpose of this exercise. If you want to pick up the pace a little, you're welcome to, as long as you have control. You're keeping your torso nice and lifted, supporting through your abs. Let's go 2 more each side. And last set. We'll move right into double arm boxing. Exhale, press forward, elbows come down, hands to shoulders. So typically we would do this one with arm springs on a Cadillac or a tower, or even on the baby chair. Although in many Pilates classes or many homes, we don't have access to that equipment. Good, let's go for 4. Palms are still facing the floor. 3. Last 2. And 1. Very nice. All right, place your weights or your hands down. Shake out your elbows. We'll move into something that isn't purely Pilates, but I think rounds out that series really nicely. So we're going to find an all-fours position, somewhere where the weights can be within reach. Shoulders right over wrists, knees right over hips. Grab the left weight in your left hand. Push up through the right palm. Make sure both hips are facing the floor. We're going to bring that weight right under the shoulder. Row the elbow back. So we're drawing the weight up to our rib cage and lower it back down. Draw the weight up and lower it back down. If you don't have a weight, just do this one with a fist and see if you can feel the movement of your shoulder blade going in toward your spine as the hand lifts. So we also don't want to be rotating through the body as this happens. We want to focus on keeping that left shoulder square to the ground. Good. Last one, pause. Tiny pulses back and forth at your end range here. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause there, right into tricep kickbacks. Bend and extend at the elbow. Keep that pressure through the right hand so you're not sinking the chest down to the mat. Neck nice and long. We're bending and extending. Fight the urge to let the wrist do a lot of the work here. We want a nice straight wrist. Good, this is 4. Control it on the way out and control it on the way in. Last 2. Feel that tricep squeeze. Extend and hold, pulses up and down. This is 10, 9, 8, 7, straight elbow. 5, bring the weight, the heel of the weight up to the ceiling. Last 3, 2, 1, lower down, shake it out. Let's go for the other side nice and quickly. You can stay where you are. I'm turning around for the next side just so you can see. Left hand goes under the left shoulder, hips over knees, hips square to the mat. Weight is in your right hand, or you've got a fist in the right hand. We're going to draw the elbow up, rowing the arm back, lower it back down. Reset if you need to. Elbow goes back and place it back down. So something to think about is feel your shoulder blade coming inwards and toward your spine as you row the arm back. You're going to feel that movement. This is really what it's all about, rather than just lifting the elbow, getting those back muscles to wake up and move. Good. You've got 3. Last 2. And 1. Pause at your end range. Tiny pulses up and down. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Core is supporting here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we extend back, straight arm, and hinge. Tricep extensions. Extend back and hinge. You've got 8, 7, 6. Feel your tricep really engage here. 5. Feel it squeeze as the arm straightens. Get that pressure through the left hand. 3. Last 2. And 1. Pause there, straight arm. Pulses up and down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Lower the weight. Put it somewhere out of your way. Child's pose, hips to heels. Chest lowers down to the floor. Take a big breath in as you exhale. Deepen the stretch. Feel your arms and shoulders stretch and release in this position. You can rock your weight more to one side if you like. Rock your weight to the other side. Try focus on flipping your palms down to the mat or facing each other. See if that makes a big difference for you. Back to center, roll on up. Let's lie down on our backs. I'll start this one with my left leg bent, foot on the floor, right leg extended up to the ceiling. If you'd like a little bit more challenge, you can extend the bottom leg for a little bit extra core stability work. Right leg extended and that foot is reaching up to the ceiling. I'm in a nice neutral spine, so my spine is not compressed down into the mat. I've got a little bit of airflow happening under my low back. So we're going to begin drawing the right leg out, down, center, around to the left, and back up. Really focus on getting that extension through the leg. Around and center. So while you're here, especially if that bottom leg is straight, supporting leg is straight, your hips are going to want to move around with all of this. Your job and your challenge is really keeping your pelvis super still and trying to keep everything aside from that right leg operating as a still picture while that right leg is a movie. See if you can keep that leg in parallel, knee facing your nose, so we're not externally rotating. Last one here. Now we reverse. Draw the leg left, down, around, and up. And I should have said earlier, this range doesn't really matter so much. You can bring it super, super wide as long as you stabilize through your pelvis and core, or you can keep it very small, which is closer to what I'm doing today. Good. Let's go for 3. Last 2. Oh, this is where it's getting spicy, spicy. And 1. Oh yeah. Bend the leg. Place the foot down. Let's go for the other side. Neutral spine. Left leg up. Nice point through the foot. And let's take the circle out and around. The leg is in parallel again. So think about keeping the knee facing your nose. We're going out to the side, down, slightly crossed, and back. 5 more. Inhale at the easy part. Exhale at the hard part for you. Good. Last 2. And 1. Reverse. Cross the body. Go down, around, and up. Explore how large you want to make this. Larger will be a little harder on the inner thighs, but it also requires, again, a lot more stabilization of the pelvis and the core. Fingertips are reaching away from your ears. Sacrum is heavy on the mat. Last two. And last one, I'm going to make it a bigger one just for fun. All right. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, out to a butterfly stretch. You can bring your arms to a T or to a goalpost position. I'm doing goalpost so I don't destroy my light over here. Take a big breath in. Exhale. See if you can feel gravity drawing your knees a little closer to the floor. Let's take one more inhale. Exhale. A little more relax and release. We're going to turn over to our right side and move on to our side lying inner thighs. So for this one, your positioning really depends on your mobility. There's no right answer. But to begin, with your head resting on your hand or your bicep, your right leg will extend straight to the side, not too far forward, not too far back. Your top leg can either be bent with your foot flat on the floor, or you can bring the knee and shin bent down to the floor or the mat. Whatever works for you is fine. I'll go for the bent leg today. Focus on stacking your hips right on top of each other, lifting through the bottom rib, just as we've discussed in other videos in the series. Leg parallel, so your knee is not facing up or up-ish, it's facing forward. We're going to point the toe, lift the leg slightly, lower it down. Lift the leg just a couple centimeters or an inch or two, and lower. You've got 6. So again, as we've discussed before, your ribs are going to want to compress into the mat as you lift that leg. That is going to make your life a lot easier and not in a way that we want, because we're trying to work everything, right? So you want to keep that lift in the waist, hips stacked as you lift the foot and the leg with it and lower it back down. Let's go for 3, 2, try to keep that leg right in line with your hip, and 1. Keep the hover, tiny pulses up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover, we're going to tap the front of the mat, lift, tap the back, lift, tap the front, lift, tap the back, lift. So your torso is going to want to rotate back as the foot goes forward and rotate forward as the leg goes back. It's your job to keep it stacked. 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Good. Back to center. Hips still stacked. Small circles to the back for 8, 7. Keep this all supported. 6, 5, 4, like you're stirring a cauldron. 2, 1. Reverse directions. 8, 7. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Extended knee, pointed toe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Bend the knee. Press up to sitting, go to the other side. Let's continue. So find that same position now on the other side. The most important thing is that your left leg is extended directly forward in parallel. So your knee is facing directly forward. Keep that top leg bent with the foot on the floor or knee and shin down on the mat, whatever works for you. Stack the hips so that you've got that lift in the bottom rib. We lift and lower with a pointed toe for 8, 7. Reaching long like you're trying to reach for something with your toe. 6, 5, core on. 4, last 3, 2, and again, try to resist the urge to collapse into the mat as the leg lifts. Hip height, tiny pulses up and down. You've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover, tap the front of the mat, lift, tap the back. Lift, tap the front, lift, tap the back. As you tap, make sure you don't roll in the opposite direction. If you switch position, you want everything in your torso stacked and controlled so that you're making your inner thighs and core do the work for you here. And switch. You've got 3, 2 more, and 1. Back to right in line with your hip. Hover, point the toe nice and long. Long extension through the leg. Circles to the back. You've got 8, 7, 6. Keep that lift under your bottom rib. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Reaching, reaching, reaching for the opposite wall. This is 7, 6, 5, 4. Last 2. And 1. Lower down, press on up to sitting. Let's go for a quick inner thigh stretch. Finding a straddle, whatever that means for you. It can be quite small, it can be almost like a full split. Find the version that feels comfortable for you. You can flex the feet or point. Think about a nice long spine as we walk the fingertips forward, bringing our chest a little bit closer to the mat. So when I say long spine, I'll turn to the side to show you what that means. I'm thinking about keeping that length and stretch through the low back. You see, I'm almost sending my tailbone back behind me instead of curling over and trying to get my chest as far down as I can. So again, think about that long spine, long low back, almost like your gaze is going slightly forward and up. Coming back to center, we'll finish up with a couple more. Walk it forward, hang out for a second, take your big breath in, exhale, release. Good, bring it up. You can reach up and over with the left arm with a nice ballet stretch. Palm flips to face the floor, press down with that top hip and up, other side. Opposite arm reaches up and over. Top hand, palm is facing the floor. So to start, lie down on your stomach. We're going to have legs hip distance apart or as wide as your mat. Elbows tight to your body, hands right under your shoulders. Spine nice and long, forehead down on the mat. Think about picking your belly button up off the mat, even though you're not physically lifting it. You want that sense of drawing your abs in and up. We're going to start, just begin lifting the head, neck, and chest, shoulders roll back. Think about your shoulder blades coming in and together, starting at the bottom tips and lower down. Big breath in, abs on. Lift the chest, keep the back of your neck long. Feeling your back muscles starting to engage. And lower down. Let's go for 3 more. Lift. Open the shoulders, open the chest. Keeping your pubic bone grounded into the mat while trying to get that sense of your belly button picking up off the mat. Glutes can be engaged. Let's go for our last one. Nice. Walk the hands forward. Next time we're going to press up. Keep the collarbone wide as we lift up onto our forearms, lifting the chest. This time we're extending through a slightly lower part of the back. Lower down. If you need to move your hands a little bit more forward, you can. Think about the bottom tips of the shoulder blades coming together and down as you lift the chest up. Feeling your back muscles engage and lower down. This one's really great if you work on a computer a lot of the time, if you do a lot of small child parenting, if you look at a phone for most of your day, or a screen of any kind. Really helps to keep your back nice and open. Good, let's continue for 2 more. Collarbone wide. And 1. Nice, lower down. Now we're going to bring the elbows wide. Place your left hand on top of your right hand. Legs stay where they are. Forehead comes down to your hands. We're going to lift the head, neck, and chest. Lower down. 2 more like this. Hands stay down for this one. Lower down. Last one like this. Lower down. Now keep your left hand anchored to your forehead. Lift that arm up as you lift the head, neck, and chest. Lower down. Lift and lower down. We're going for 5 of these, so 3 more. And down. 2. And 1. Next time we lift, we're going to extend the arm forward, reach the arm back, bring it forward, bend the elbow, find your salute, lower down. 5 of these. Lift, extend forward, all the way back, all the way forward, hand to forehead, lower down. 3 more to make it 5. Forward, really feel that wide range of motion, and down. 2 more. Last one. Palm is facing down the whole time here. Good. We're going to the other side. Left hand is down, right hand on top of it, forehead right down on your hand. Now we're going to keep the hands together. Just lift the head, neck, and chest. And lower down, feeling your upper back working. This is 2. And 1. Good. Now for 5, we're going to keep your head anchored to that right hand. Salute. Raise your right arm up with your head, neck, and chest. Lower it down. You've got 4. Keep both hips heavy down. Think about your belly button peeling up off the mat. Shoulders are down and back. And 1. Lower everything down. Bring that salute position up one more time. We're going to extend the right arm forward. Draw it all the way around back like you're making a snow angel. All the way forward. Lift the chest. Hand to head. Lower down. 4 more to make it 5. Lift. Arm forward. All the way back. Shoulders stay down. All the way forward. Bend the elbow. Lower down. Let's take it for 3. Exhale as you come up. Snow angel. Palm stays down. 2 more. Lift. Feel your shoulder blade moving as you rotate that arm around. Keep your left hip heavy. This is your last one. Hand to head. Lower down. Bring your hands just right in front of your shoulders. You can place your head down on the mat. Rock your head side to side. We'll do a little neck release at the end of this series, end of this workout. Now, extend your arms forward. You're going to keep your legs as wide as your mat. Palms are going to face each other. The spine is nice and long. Abs are on. We're going to lift the left arm and right leg. Lower down. Alternating sides. Left leg up, right arm down. My head is lifted up off the mat. You can keep yours down. I like to think about the back of the neck being nice and long. So we're hopefully feeling a little bit more work through the mid-back now. Doing a lot of upper back extension and activation on the last one. This one should hit our mid-back muscles a little bit more. If you're lifting your head, you can even take this a little bit higher, coming into a little bit more of an extension. Good. Next time you have your left arm and right leg up, we're going to pulse up and down for 8, 7, 6. Arm and leg are working. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Right arm up, left leg up. Shoulder plug down. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Palms face each other. Superman. Lift and hold. Arms and legs lift. Shoulders down. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Big breath in. Exhale. Lift and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Take a rest. Big breath in. We're going to go for 1 more. Big inhale. Exhale. 1 more big breath. Exhale. Lift. And we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Now bring your arms right in line with your shoulders, legs right in line with your hips. So we're not opening the arms and legs quite as wide. Now we're going to lift, swim. So we're going to alternate legs and arms, switching sides. You're going to go as fast as you can while still keeping some control over the torso. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, lower down. Oh yeah. Place your hands under your shoulders. Press back, find your child's pose. Knees can go wide. Head comes down to the mat. Just focus on breathing into your back. As you inhale, feel the air fill into the back of your lungs and the sides of your torso. Really get into your back breathing here. Let those muscles relax. Feel your belly expand too, and abs engage on your exhale. Now, place your left hand on top of your right hand. Press back on your left hip. Get a nice oppositional stretch here. Other side. Left arm to left side, right hand on top. Press back on your right hip. Feel that stretch through your upper back, your lower back, wherever you're feeling it. And back. Roll up. So for this position, you can rest your head on your bicep, up on your hand, or you could even put a little yoga block or a pillow under your head. Legs will start in tabletop. So we're going to flex our feet at the heels. We want our shins parallel to the front of the mat. Take a moment to really work on your torso positioning. So if you feel like your top knee is over your bottom knee, hanging over the top. That means your hips are rotated too far forward. Next, we're going to press the top hip away. So we've got a nice lengthening through the spine here. So to begin, we're going to flex the feet, lift the top leg up. So we're lifting the knee and ankle at the same height and lowering down. We're not letting the heel sink down. We really want to focus on getting the heel high as well as the knee. So we're going to go for 6 more of these to make it 8. Should hopefully feel some of this work happen through the glutes. I also want to say the spinal positioning is really important because it also helps localize the work in the glutes here. Good, we've got 3 more. Last 2. And 1. Good, bring that leg back to hip height. Keep the foot flexed, tiny pulses up and down, keeping your pelvis and your torso stable. Abs are on. This is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to hip height. We're going to lift, knee comes to knee. Lift, heel comes to heel or toe to toe. Lift, knee to knee. Try not to collapse in your waist for this one. That becomes very easy. So on the way down with the knee to knee, your hip is rotating internally, which is very healthy, very important for healthy hips. And on the way out, you're externally rotating, which also is necessary. We've got 4. And switch. And as you come down, try to get the knees stacked right on top of each other. And the top knee should not be too far forward. Final 2. And 1. Very good. Rest your leg for a second. Pound out your glute if you need to. We're going to go right into ovals next. So stack your spine again. Feel that lengthening through the top of the waist. Flex feet. Lift your leg to hip height. Circles to the outside for 8. 7. Take care that you're not rocking your hips back as you rotate that leg. Everything but the leg is moving, is staying still. Only the leg is moving. This is 4. 3. Give yourself enough room here. This doesn't need to be wildly large, but we do want to draw a sizable enough circle that we're feeling it adequately in the glutes. We're reversing now. This is 6. 5. Keep your hips stacked. 4. 3. Last 2. And 1. Oh boy, that was enough. Let's lower the leg, pound out through the glute with your fist. We'll stretch after we get to the other side. So press up, turn over, or just roll over onto your back and go into the other side. Find that same comfortable position you did on the other side. So get yourself pretty close to the back edge of your mat. Check that your hips are stacked vertically on top of each other. Your knees are stacked as well, so one isn't forward or back. You're not rocking forward or back. We're going to flex the feet at the heels, lift the top leg up, and lower down with control. So again, we don't want to be rocking back or rotating through the hips. We want to make sure that the heel isn't lagging behind. We want that up, right on the same plane as the knee. But you can open your hip ankle out a little bit to really get that glute in the back. We've got 3 more. Keeping your abs on. Again, top of the waist really lengthened. And last one, check your hip alignment as you go. Hover to hip height, foot still flexed, pulses up and down. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, use your abs, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, rest for a sec if you need to, especially the second side tends to be harder. Flex the feet, lift back to hip height. Find that big lift in between your internal rotation and your external rotation. So if you're spending this whole thing down here, you're not going to get as much work as if you really exaggerate that lift and get as much rotation through your hip socket as your body will comfortably allow you to today. Nice. So I recommend heel to heel over toe to toe just because you get that little bit more range on this one. We've got 3 more. Make sure your shoulder is open but not rotating back. Last 2. Lower it with control. Don't let it drop. And 1. Good. Take a rest. Pound it out if you need to. We're going to go into our ovals or our circles last. So reset. It's showtime. We've got knee over knee, hip over hip. Lengthen through your waist, flex the feet, lift up to hip height, draw your circles to the outside for 8. This is 7, 6, and again, I'm not extending the leg here. It's staying bent at a right angle the whole time. This is 4. The second side for me is always harder because you still have to stabilize on the first side. Last 2. And 1, fight for it. Make sure your spine isn't collapsing. Other direction, this is 8. Get your good range in there. 6, 5. Last 4. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. That is enough of those. Pound it out if you'd like. Good. Take a big breather. Let's sit up. We're going to go for a seated figure 4 stretch. So cross your left ankle over your right knee. Hands can be behind you, either palms flat on the mat, or I like to tent them up a little bit to give myself more range. You can do whatever makes sense. Close your rib cage so you're not popping it out. And just take a moment. Rock that supporting knee, your right knee side to side. Give yourself a little bit of room. Your range might be more open. That's totally fine. I'm very genetically bendy. But wherever you are, just going to rock your legs side to side. Keep that lift out of the lumbar spine without popping open through the ribs. Just feel this kind of floss your glute muscles a little bit. Let's go for the other side. Crossing the right ankle over the left knee, wherever feels comfortable. And just take stock of what feels more tight for you, which side might feel a little more restricted versus the other as you go from one side to the next. For me, it's usually the left. Today it's the right, oddly. Let's just take a couple more of these. Keeping that pressure up through your palms or your fingers. Nice. Next, we're going to come up to sort of a pretzel or a cross-legged position. We're going to bend the left knee. Try to place the right leg right on top of it. If that's not working for you, you can bring the foot down to the floor rather than on top of the left knee. Do whatever works for you. As we start to bring the torso forward, I'm not achieving that by rounding through the back. That's not giving us the stretch we want. So I'm thinking about length through the low back, hinging at the hips, walking the fingers far enough forward that I'm feeling that stretch in the glutes on the right side. Again, if you're rounding your spine excessively, you're not going to feel the stretch where we want it. You'll probably feel more of a back stretch, which is fine. And do that if that feels good to you. But if you can, really try to keep that length. You might go really low. You might only just lean a little bit forward. Whatever gets you to the point where you're feeling that stretch is a-okay. Let's switch sides. Left ankle on top of right knee or down to the floor in front of you. Find that length through your low back, rib cage down. Walk your fingers forward or just hinge slightly forward. There's the tightness in the left hip. Now that I'm feeling it a lot. Let's just take a nice big breath. Inhale and exhale. As you inhale, you can really just let everything relax. It's okay to do some belly breathing here. But I also like to focus on getting an inhalation through the back and through the sides of the ribs. If you can fold a little bit more without rounding through the back, feel free to do that now. Good. Come to all fours. You'll bring hands under shoulders. If you've got wrist pain, you could do this one, of course, down on your forearms. Just make sure your shoulders are over your elbows instead. Knees right over hips, and we're going to curl the toes under. So you've got this little bit of support here through your feet. Take a moment to press up out of the palms so you've got a pressure happening through the floor and you're getting the tension out of your neck. So you're separating the shoulder blades, pushing the floor away, and think about taking a big breath in, letting the belly relax, and as you exhale, feeling those same deep core muscles start to engage. Big breath in, relax your abdomen. Exhale, feel the abs zip in and up. Think about your ribs coming down, pressure through the hands. Big breath in, exhale, abs zip up. Before we lift the knees, one thing, make sure you're in neutral spine so we're not arching the back, we're not curling up, flexing. We're just in this natural curve between the two. Next, we lift the knees. Press the floor away. Get into your proper position. Deep breath in. Relax the abdomen. Exhale. Zip the abs on. And once you have those abs engaged, we're going to lift the knees and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, back of your neck is really long, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, roll out the wrists if you need to. We're going to take another set just like that. Deep breath in, exhale, push the floor away. One more time on this exhale, turn the abs on. Once they're supporting, lift the knees. We hold for 10. Make sure your bottom, your tailbone isn't tucking under. We don't want to be in this flex position. We want length through the lumbar spine. Low abs supporting us. Still breathing. Relax tension through your neck if you can. You've got 3, 2, 1. Lower down, shake it out. Next, we're going to shift our weight forward and back in that same position. So once again, we find our quadruped, press up through the floor. Big breath in, start with your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, lift the knees. Ever so slightly shift your weight forward and back. See, I'm not going too far here. I'm just going only as far as I need to feel my abs really kick on. I'm going to take 5 more like this. Of course, if your shoulders are hurting you, your elbows are bothering you, just flip to either the straight up plank or reduce your range of motion. Good. You've got 3. Keep your abs engaged. 2 and 1. Good. Lower down, quick child's pose, hips to your heels, arms reach forward. Let your head come down to the mat. Take a big breath in. Feel your ribs expand in every direction. Exhale. Very good. Come on back to your all fours or forearm position. We'll continue in quadruped for a moment with a couple more variations. So bring your hands or elbows right under your shoulders once again. Press up through the palms or the forearms. Lift your knees. Find that supported quadruped plank. We're just going to tap the knees down, lift them up. Tap them down, lift them up. If you need to adjust, do it now. Tap them down, lift them up. So we're not sinking the weight in and lifting them up. We're just ever so slightly kissing the mat with the knees. Good. You've got 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down, shake out the wrists. We're going to go right into our next variation. Back up to your all fours. Get yourself situated, push up through the palms, hover the knees. You're going to lift up the back leg, kick the ceiling, lower it back down. Lift up the other leg, place it back down. So what we don't want to be doing is shifting the weight way over to the side. Really want to keep this nice and organized. Try to keep your supporting knee right where it is. Think about everything but that moving leg being a movie. No, being a picture. And your moving leg is a movie. So you want to keep your weight evenly distributed over the hands. Last one. And switch. Oh boy, that was a little hard. Let's bring hips to heels. Arms forward. Child's pose. Deep breath in. Exhale. Release. A little bit of side plank next for good measure. So come to laying down on your side. I'm on my right side. You can be wherever you like. I'm going to do bent legs. You could do straight legs if you like. It really doesn't matter as long as you feel comfortable. Shoulder over elbow. Stack everything so you're not sinking into the mat. You want this length through the lower part of your waist. Deep breath in. Exhale. Lift up. You're going to bring your spine into alignment, making sure your head isn't forward. If you're feeling comfortable here, you can bring your top hand to your hip or extend your arm up over the ceiling. And we hold. This is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yes, I'm a slow counter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold there. Tiny pulses up and down. We've got 10, 9. Really reach up to the ceiling with that arm. Don't let it be a dead fish. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold there. You're going to rotate, reach that arm under your waist. Rotate up to the ceiling. Keep the hips high. Reach, rotate under. So we're actually rotating the torso, not just bringing the arm under. We're turning the body. And up. Let's do 3 more to make it 6. This is 2. And last one. Good. Lower everything down with control. Let's go to the other side. Find the same position you were in on the other side. Make sure your shoulder's right over your elbow, knees or legs stacked. Press the top hip away, find that length through the bottom side of your waist. Top arm starts resting on your leg. We're going to lift up, lengthen your spine, make sure your head isn't forward. When you're ready, reach up to the ceiling, replace your hand on your hip. Get nice and situated here. If you need to shift anything now, do it. We're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep that pressure in the bottom arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tiny pulses up and down. Dip the hips up and down. This is 9, 8. Keep the abs zipped in and up. 6. Make sure you still got that tension between your low abs, between your hip bones. 4. If you're sinking into that bottom arm, this is going to make your life a lot harder, so keep that pressure up through the arm. Lift. Now we rotate the torso, reach under, and then reach up. Twist through the torso. Reach the top arm under and up, turning your head and chest to face the floor. You've got 3 more, still keeping that pressure through the supporting arm. Hopefully feeling your obliques. Last one. Good. Lower down. Let's finish up. Last but definitely not least, we're going to go into our full plank series. So something that's really important to keep in mind here is if you feel like you can hold the position but you're bulging through your abdomen, take a rest. It's going to put a lot of pressure on your connective tissue here, and it can actually compromise your ab support. So as we do the next one, really zero in on finding that zip in and up and that connection through the hip bones. So same thing, you can do straight arms here or down on your elbows, whatever works for you. If you go straight arms, you'll have a little bit more room to work with a couple of the variations. But same deal, we're going to press up through the palms. This time, walk the legs down and back. We're going to find a nice diagonal line. So you don't want the hips coming down and you don't want the butt sticking up either. You want to be somewhere in this nice neutral position. Make sure your head isn't dipping down toward the floor. You want to think about a nice long extended line from the back of your neck down to your heels. We're going to hold for 8, 7. Find that turned on position in your low abs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. Tap one knee down to the mat, raise it back up. Tap the other knee down to the mat, raise it back up. Alternating sides. You've got 6, 5, and switch. Try to keep the bottom right where it is. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your knees down to a child's pose. Head down to the mat, arms reach forward. Take a big breath in, filling your lungs in every direction. Exhale. Roll on up to all fours. Let's finish up with our last sequence. So we're going to continue this play on removal of contact points here. So we'll go for hands under your shoulders. Legs will walk back once more. And of course, if you're in your forearms, find that position. Finding your nice lengthened plank, you're going to point the left foot, pulse it up, lower it down, anchor yourself. Right foot, point, lift, lower down, and anchor. So we don't want to be lifting the bottom up as the leg goes up. We'll be keeping your butt low, comfortably low, not so much that it's making your hips dip down either. So this is a pretty small movement, but we're being really forced to stabilize with the core in order to hold the torso nice and steady and stable and keep the pelvis right where it is. Let's do 2 more each side. Use your breath. Last one. Hold in your plank, both feet down. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down. Child's pose once more. Head down to the mat. Big breath in. Exhale, let it out. Big breath in. Exhale. Roll it up. Let's stretch out the wrists. We can go for all fours. Fingers forward. Rock forward and back just a little bit. Releasing through the wrist. Fingertips facing each other. Rock side to side. Hands under shoulders, of course. Releasing through the wrist. Fingertips facing each other. Rock side to side. Hands under shoulders, of course. Releasing through the wrist. Fingertips facing each other. Rock side to side. Hands under shoulders, of course. Hands under shoulders, of course. fingers facing your knees. Rock front to back. This one's my favorite. I'm going to spend another moment here. Take whichever variation feels the best to you. Spend a second there. Next, let's come back to sitting. I'm going to face side. You can face whichever direction you like. I'll just be in a cross-legged position. Arms come down to your sides. Reach your left arm up and over. Palm flips to face the floor. Big breath in. Exhale. Place the arm down. Right arm reaches up and over. Left arm softens. Right shoulder is down. Once again, left arm up and over. This time, press down on the left hip. Rotate your torso to bring your chest to face the floor. Rotate back. Reach up and over. Other side. Right arm reaches up. Palm flips to face the floor. Rotate your torso to face the floor, even if it's just a little bit. Back to front, reach up and over. Let's roll your shoulders back. Roll your shoulders back. Roll your shoulders forward. And 2. Roll your shoulders back. And back. Back to neutral. Look right, center, left, center, up, center, down, center, right ear to right shoulder. Place your right hand onto your head. Don't pull, just let the weight deepen the stretch. Let your left hand be nice and heavy. Other side, left ear to left shoulder. Place your left hand on top of your head. Just let gravity deepen the stretch. Let your right shoulder be nice and heavy. Back to center, close your eyes, big breath in. Roll your shoulders back. Feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades coming to meet in the back. As you exhale, open your eyes. Thank you so much. You did. You did all 10 days. Give yourself a round of applause. If you haven't yet subscribed, of course, please subscribe and leave me a comment to let me know if you'd like to see more mat workouts. If you have a reformer, I have over 160 reformer videos available to you and my channel membership, which I hope you'll join. Thank you so much to my membership supporters. I couldn't do it without you. And extra special thanks to the folks who've been with me for 6 months or more. I so appreciate your support. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.